Take two, we're up. Oh, this is Idaho Lorax. This is Behind the Uranium Curtain here in Pocatello, and with me today is Danny. Danny's here. Danny LeClaire, survivor of Dakota Access Pipeline. Or we should say one of the most incredible, nasty efforts of our government and corporations against water rights, people's rights, Native American rights, sovereignty in America. We have a lot of things going on in the United States right now, but it's amazing what continues on a daily basis. And this, who started a lot of this? As far as I'm concerned, the Native American people stood up first against our present administration here. What's his name? Scrotus Trumpery, yes, our new existing president. Anyways, we're going to have some discussion with Danny here. We're also, people want a live call-in. It's 234-6288. We are going to be taking calls. Hopefully we'll have the phone working here well. So we will be bringing that in. In the meantime, we'll put you in the mood with a little video regarding things that have been happening there at the Dakota Access Pipeline protest, Standing Rock, North Dakota. So here we go. Learn. Well, welcome back. I hope you learn a little bit about what's happening there in North Dakota, as we say for their tourist department. I remember seeing a meme. They're called Legendary. That's the name of the tourist project there for North Dakota. The one I saw, the only state you can still shoot Indians. To me, that's not just weird. That's just un-American, for sure. So anyways, here we are with Danny LeClaire. Tell us, Danny, what made you want to go? Put your life on the line.
What made me want to go was, we can't describe it so simply. It's like a lot of people who I met at the camp also said the same thing too. It felt like we were called to go there. I mean, some of these people kind of just, I mean, they had a house, they had a job, they had, things, but going there was more important. It felt more important. I know I went there, it felt more important to me than anything currently happening in the world. I mean, I went there, well, I might have sold all my stuff and went there, and I was broke when I got there. I lived with no money for 4 months, and I have to say, it feels pretty good. I don't know, this money kind of feeds into it, so it's like, I don't know, come back to the civilized world, as you call it. I don't know, this world's miserable. It's what's it called? It's a very sedentary lifestyle, don't move around much. If you want to take a shower, or if you want running water, you could just go to the sink and turn it on. There in the winter, it got really cold. The temperature was around mostly 0 degrees for the most part. Out there suffering for something we really believed in.
I noticed that, like anything, sometimes you're out here protesting, maybe at Fort Hall even, but small numbers. It is comforting to at least be with a lot of people. People feel the same way. And of course, like anything, it's good. There's a whole bunch of people. You might say you were the warriors. Isn't how a lot of people look at it? Maybe a pony soldier or something. Plains vocabulary. Basically, you're there, but there is that whole network that supports you. In other words, people who are running supplies there, even from Pocatello, bringing things there for people to support you for things you need to live. Keep warm, because winter was a-coming. And so those are, those people play an important role too. Sometimes we forget them. Sometimes we only remember the warriors, but there are others. But the warriors are far in between. In fact, well, they're the ones that die sometimes. So it is putting your life on the line. So you think you'd go back again? You think you'd do it again?
Yeah, I'd do it again. Well, yeah, I would do it again.
So you felt something was accomplished by what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of progress. So that, people. Tell us a little bit about some of your experiences there. Like, were you shot at? Were you clubbed? Were you tear gas? Typical government oppression. Not anywhere in the world. I mean, we get the camera goes somewhere else, to Syria or anywhere. But how much does it happen here?
Here in this country, over there at Standing Rock, the whole thing of Standing Rock is the Dakota Access Pipeline wants to put in this pipeline that's going to go underneath the Missouri River, which is a very bad idea. Oh, man. And when I put this pipeline underneath the Missouri River, this pipeline is designed to pump as much oil as they get out in a year within 2 days. I want to put that underneath a major waterway in America. A major waterway that leads to the major waterway of America. And to trying to accomplish this, I don't know, this whole thing just run. Anyways,
But you consider yourself a Plains Indian, as a Shoshone-Bannock, I believe, is your background?
yes, I'm a Shoshone-Bannock Shoban tribe here from Idaho, this region of Idaho. No, it's far away, but this
Still pretty flat, eh? Yeah, the reason I brought that up is because, a century ago or so, we dealt with issues quite similar to what we're dealing with now. We called them the railroad robber barons.
Yeah, the railroad.
They were given lots of money by government. They ended up controlling the large stretches of the West and places and towns and people. And they wore a dress. We knew what they looked like. They wore those top hats. They looked like British elite, royalty, trying to emanate that kind of relationship as if we're the lords of the land. And they were basically robbers. Robber barons was the name associated with them in history. The railroad robber barons. And I myself did an article on that, which was reflecting now we have the pipeline robber barons.
Yes, pipeline robber barons.
Pipeline robber barons, because they're not only stealing land there and destroying properties, stealing properties from people once after they get their accesses and things like that, and in many other places. When I did the story, I was amazed at how much was happening, including in Pocatello, Idaho. And so that is a tremendous issue to have to deal with. It's government, again, backing large corporations. It's a whole slew of them there just to steal people's lands. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, the government's back. Let's say. Yeah, this big corporation. I don't know. Oh, I gotta think for a minute. This kind of gets me all. Anyways, the government and the state government over there in North Dakota has been backing this big corporation to put this pipeline underneath a major waterway in America. And so far, they spent about $22 million trying to stop peaceful protesters from praying and trying to stop this for the future generations.
So it's education is the main focus of what you're doing, educating people. So people spend $22 million to try to prevent education.
Mm-hmm.
All over what they say, a few jobs.
Yeah, a few jobs, 14 jobs. They're putting money ahead of their future. These people are jumping at this money so fast, they don't even bother to look at what they have to lose. This pipeline spills in the Missouri River. The oil is going to go into the Mississippi River. It's going to go downstream on a path of destruction, destroying everything in its path. The fish, the animals, the water, everything will just be polluted. Everything will die. Can you imagine the impact that would have on America? It'd affect over, what they say, 18 million Americans, maybe probably even more if you consider everyone who makes their livelihood off those rivers. So once that oil goes in the river, it's going to be pumping at a rate so fast. And it goes into a major waterway and it's going to go downriver.
Well, isn't that part of the problems we have today? It's not so much money they're making, because obviously the oil is coming from somewhere else, most of it. Not even in this country, a lot of it. And then, it's just, for a very few people, making a lot of money, putting a lot of people at risk. It's happened in the Gulf. I personally was down there during the oil spill, and I was amazed how much, if you can't take money from the land and actually do something with it, let's take it from the people's coffers. In other words, taxpayers' money. And I used to say, when is the relief going to stop coming to Louisiana? Because they keep building these things. Like, what was it for? A bridge? Spent $120 million or something for a bridge system, which was just to get the workers to their oil fields. And when I was there was another leak, and they tried to cover it up. And then I saw another bridge project, $50,000 mile or $50 million to get people to a sand spit. Who you can't even live there unless your house is on stilts. But they got a bridge. But the real Louisiana people, and that's what you might say like the Native Americans, they lived there for centuries. Their livelihood is that. When the flood comes, as a little joke I did in my comedy down there, their houses are rectangular blocks, and they got a cement block under each corner. And when the floods come, sure, the water recedes, the houses float, go down. They may have to change their address, but the thing is, they know how to live there. It's when we try to intrude and make the taxpayers pay for it all. Developers have a great way of getting taxpayers to spend the money for their pockets without any concern for the environment, often. Mm-hmm. And it takes people like yourself and others to just go with it. So what's your future have in store for you? Looking at going back, were there other people there that you knew come from Fort Hall?
Well, I didn't know anyone from Fort Hall was over there, but I guess they stopped by at some point. There's a lot more people there. About the taxpayers,
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have never heard of anyone called John Bullion Ball or John Whistleblower, big oil companies don't like him. He used to work for the oil companies at first, and then he worked cleaning up oil spills for the oil companies. Not cleaning up, it's covering up. You check him out on, Google him or whatnot, and see what he's talking about. He shows you the effects of an oil spill and the real effects of what it has on the people and how the big oil companies just cover it up. They don't bother to clean it up. I hope those guys are looking.
John Whistleblower, huh? It sounds like a man after my own taking. I'm mainly just a messenger here, but we deal with tremendous cover-up here. And it seems that whenever they're involved in cover-up, do not tell, is where the corruption always is.
Do not tell.
Do not tell. Policies even to do not tell. Don't tell the officers who are going out there on the line what it's really about. People just don't know. Sometimes all they know, well, it's a good paycheck, and try to make the other side look bad.
Police officers.
Like I was talking to you earlier about that trash issue, and people just, people have no no understanding of it. How people will be there praying, in protest, peaceful protest. In fact, most people go there that I know, they're all put in a day training before you go out there because they want you not breaking the law. They want you to understand what you're dealing with and to not they have to deal with people with implants in there to try to cause trouble, to know how to recognize those people.
The instigators,
yeah,
the infiltrators.
Instigators, yeah. And so here we got situations where, you're trained, you're out there, peaceful protests, First Amendment rights, at least they supposed to be applied to people in America. That's why they're called the First Amendment, not the second or third or anything else. They're first, most primary, first on everyone's mind. And of course, is the First Amendment. But then, here you are peaceful. They come and tear gas you, club you, push you off. And of course, what? You can, sorry, let me clean up the mess while you're tear gassing me and beating me up so I can not leave anything here. No, they just run you down, arrest you, take 120 of us off at a time like you were telling, and then start taking pictures and say, oh, look at the mess they made and left here. Mm-hmm. So what kind of things did you encounter? I heard you brought a couple of souvenirs back.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about them.
Here I have a bean bag. This came from a shotgun. Those orange shotguns they have. I've never seen those. Yeah.
They call them a bean bag, but that's not beans in there. Isn't that shot?
I don't know what's in it. I just know it hurts when you get hit by it a lot.
I would think so. Yeah, that's lead shot. I can feel it. This is lead shot in there. This is just thing that goes in a shotgun that you're going to blow somebody's head off or put a big hole in their gut. We'll put it in a sack so it doesn't do that. Actually, mace slows it down a little, but I would imagine no matter what you had on, this is going to hurt.
Yeah, they
Because
hurt.
that's still the power of a shotgun coming at you instead of scattered, which then you have all these little pellets doing it. It's just mainly break an arm, break your head, or rip a hole right through you.
I remember seeing someone. Well, I remember seeing this guy sitting on the ground on what day was it? November 20th. There was that big incident on the bridge that includes the water cannons, tear gas, pepper spray. I said tear gas word, right? Pepper spray, concussion grenades, tear canisters. Oh, I remember. It was a crazy day, but I can remember it very good. I remember there were these big spotlights they had, so we couldn't see them or whatever.
Mhm.
Oh man, it was a crazy day.
Well,
That night was crazy.
what's this other thing there? Is it something else they use over there?
Yeah. Rubber bullet. It's pretty big.
Well, I thought the rubber bullets were something like come out of a BB gun, maybe, or a
Well, this
22 size. That's
this is a pretty big.
yeah, it's a pretty big rubber bullet.
I thought at first maybe they put this on the top of a shotgun, but then I thought about it. I think these comes out of a 40 millimeter grenade launcher or something. So I remember seeing them with those. So I'm pretty sure I got hit in the back by one of these. So I remember they shot me 3 times in one night. First they shot me somewhere around the abdomen and the upper body. By the way, I had my hands up, by the way, like this.
Now I was gonna say, why did they shoot you? Were you, clubbing one of the officers or something? Or like you said, hey,
I just stand there on
I'm
the
just put
bridge.
my hands up here.
And then they shot me, and they shot me again, and put my hands up and said, I forgive you for what you did, and then, what is it? Yeah, the second time they shot me, I decided it was a good idea to get behind some cover. I'm pretty sure they would have shot me again and again. Let me think. I jumped under cover, and then they threw a tear canister, and I hate tear gas. It's the worst stuff in the world. They threw tear canister, I remember seeing a tear canister. And then that's when I decided it was time to get out of there. I turned around to get away, and then they popped me in the back with a rubber bullet with one of these. I tell you, these things really hurt. It dropped me to my knees, and there was tear gas everywhere, and then these 2 medics came and grabbed me and pulled me out. It felt like a war zone. It felt like a movie. Sometimes this stuff just don't feel real. No, it feels like I was in a movie over there. I don't know how to describe it.
Did you run into any of those, the instigators? There was a big issue about catching one of them, had his gun, and he's waving it at people. He was over there to cause trouble, He was over there to instigate. He came from the other side as an undercover.
Instigator?
Yeah, an undercover instigator.
Are
Did
you
you?
talking about the guy with the gun?
Yeah, you saw that. You were there in that area?
I wasn't in that area, but I heard about it. That's they arrested Red Fawn, and now they're trying to make her into a Leonard Peltier as an example.
Mm-hmm.
They said that she had a gun, but she had no gun.
But no, this was somebody that actually came from the other side. They caught him coming over, and then he went to his truck and got the gun out, waved, trying to protect himself then, because he thought, people were going to be angry. Well, they wanted to catch him, that's for sure, because he was over there to start trouble. So I remember seeing that one. So tell me, what's coming up?
Oh, on March 10th, there's going to be a protest in Washington, D.C. against this pipeline. Well, I'm going to go to it. I might get there. I might get stranded there for a bit, but there's something you really believe in. You go for it. You don't sit around and think about it.
Oh, most definitely. I can relate to my own stories there. I remember I was in San Francisco and nobody got arrested, and I was telling you, and they locked up 10,000 people, put them in the stadium. And another time, Honor America Day, they just came in and instigated it all. Started trouble and tear gassing mom, dad, their kids, everybody, for something that was a peaceful gathering. Washington, D.C. can be explosive. Be careful if you're going to Washington, D.C. They got military up the yin-yang there, and to try to, well, let's say, suppress our rights, suppress the reasons you go there. Obviously, is for peaceful protest and education, educating people, hopefully that you can educate our government or government officials. You get your hands full on that one, don't you?
Well, as long as there's reporters around, I feel safe. Well, not the big media coverage guys. Those guys never show up. It's mainly a small media that protects us, I guess. And if there were no cameras in North Dakota, people would probably be dead.
Well, that's why we're here. This is Pocatello Valley Voice.
Remember, the First Amendment gives you protection against the government.
Yep, freedom of the press. So use it, utilize it. In fact, I'm hoping that you might even come back. Maybe bring some other people with you. We can even have a larger show, a larger discussion of some of the issues, some of the things people can do to help educate, inform people, not just there, but issues here. You know, I'm open to do it here in a small show, or let's do it in the studio and make an expression. I would like to thank you for coming, Danny, and who knows, maybe you survive. I call you a survivor because I know what it's like when you're being tear gassed and those kinds of things. Of course, you know, a little word of advice, carry some water with you because you wet it, and then you put it in your face. It helps the tear gas issue because it's water soluble for the most part. But I want to go out today with a little song about the river. Somebody wrote about that over there. So I'd like to take a look at it. And thank you for tuning in to Behind the Uranium Curtain.
There's gotta be some hope. There's gotta be some hope. There's gotta be some way for you to send your dogs away and to leave the land alone. It's gotta be a crime somewhere in your heart you'll find. We're fighting for our right to keep the future bright and protect the ones we love. And the river is our sisters and our brothers. We are camping out for each other.